Yeah, the only thing is the ticker looks kind of cut off. Is the only thing.
You might have to click on that ticker on OBS.
Okay.
It might move it up a little bit.
Okay.
Like just click on it and then use your up arrow to move it up a bit. Like on your keyboard, see if it moves up any.
Yeah. Well, and what I mean by that is like the severe thunderstorm watch part looks to be cut off by the time.
Oh, you might have to make it smaller. So, depending on how big it looks like off to the side, you might have to like shrink it. So like take your mouse and find the end of it and like shrink it down, if you will.
Okay. Let's see here. That makes it look all stretched.
If you don't want it, it doesn't have the sponsor thing on it. That's fine. As long as it has like the alerts and stuff on it, I think it'll be okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the sponsor's on it.
That later. Yeah. Okay. Then I think you're good.
Okay. Alrighty, we'll go with that. We'll fix that part later.
Okay. That sounds good. I'll be in the comments for you.
Alrighty. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, hello everyone who was just tuning in. Sorry for the slight delay here. I was just working out some technical difficulties. This is Mike Joyce here, tracking a very nasty line of thunderstorms moving through northern Ohio as we speak. We have a severe thunderstorm warning until. Oh, hold on a sec. We also have to change something else here. Give me one sec. Give me one sec here. There is no tornado threat, so I need to edit that. Let's see. Severe weather. Let's just do that. There we go. All right. Make a quick little edit. Today is 3/31/26. All right. Hopefully that doesn't impact our live video here at all. And there we go. I think we're off and running. So, good evening, everyone. Again, there are no tornado issues. That was an error posting about a tornado watch. We do not have a tornado watch in effect. In fact, though, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect. That will run through the next couple of hours. So that will stick with us for until about 6 or 7 p.m. But what we're really tracking right now is this live threat for severe weather right here that's moving through Lorain County, also eastern Huron County, and far northern Richland County at the moment. And this severe thunderstorm has the potential to bring 70-mile-per-hour wind to the region, which is a very, very serious situation here. But no, there is no tornado threat at this time for anywhere in Lorain County. But Elyria, you are about to get blasted with some very severe wind. I would not be surprised if we saw wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour and maybe even some hail in this storm. We're seeing those purples and pinks on the radar that typically indicate that hail may be possible. So again, that would be moving right through Elyria and Avon Lake. Grafton, you're going to be experiencing that very, very soon. Same with Columbia Station. Also the western suburbs of Cuyahoga County. So we're talking Bay Village, Westlake, North Olmsted Falls, and then heading right toward Hopkins Airport very, very soon. So let's see if we have some updates on the forward speed of this storm. Let's see. Damage threat is considerable. I would not be surprised if the National Weather Service ended up extending this into the eastern portions of the Cleveland metro area here very soon, because this severe thunderstorm warning is slated to expire at 5:30. That's only 15 minutes from now. But it's moving fast. It's moving east at 60 miles per hour. So I would not be surprised if we saw that extended into the city of Cleveland and some of the eastern suburbs here soon enough. So if you're in Cuyahoga County, if you're in Lorain County, hopefully you're already taking cover because the storm is on top of you at the moment. And we will keep an eye on it as we go through here. We've gotten reports that many power lines are down across Sandusky and Ottawa County. And we also have a report of pea-sized hail in Willard.
There we go.
All right, thank you, Philip, for that report. So, yes, I noticed that things were quite nasty out in Western Huron County not long ago. That your storm threat seems to be seems to have ended down in Willard now, but the main area of concern is here.
Yes,
Now just about to cross into Cuyahoga County, so eastern Lorain County, all along State Route 83, State Route
seems to have ended down in now.
Route 83 is going to be your line of where the worst of this is right now. What we can also do is take a look at the wind coming out of this storm, and we're seeing some very nasty wind returns, especially over Elyria right now. If you're watching from Elyria, I am fairly certain that this is take a look at not a great situation for you at the moment. Let's see if we can get some wind gusts, estimated wind out of this. It looks like we're looking at about 70 to maybe even some areas up to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. That's some considerable issues with that one. So hopefully if you are, again, western suburbs of Cleveland, stretching all the way down into Medina County, and even just outside of Lodi, along I-71, you really should be making, hopefully if you are, again, western suburbs of Cleveland, stretching all the way down into Medina County again. Had the radar going. We'll let it load back up here. But again, the western suburbs of Cleveland really do need to be paying attention to this storm. And we'll see if our partners at the Weather Service decide to extend this off to the east just a little bit here shortly. But again, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for everywhere shaded in this orange. That's going to run until... All right, there we go. We've got a little bit of radar for you here. With the strongest wind gusts now exiting Lorain County and will soon be entering Cuyahoga County. So... there it is. We have that bright radar echo, potentially some hail mixed in there as well. We did get a report of some hail down in the Willard area from Philip, who reported that. Thank you so much. And yeah, if you have any live reports of where you're at, we'd love to hear about it as we track this severe weather across northern Ohio this evening. We did have a couple questions about other parts of Ohio. This is really just a northern Ohio issue at this time. I think we had a comment from Delaware. Delaware is in the clear. You are not in the severe thunderstorm watch. In Delaware, this does not include Columbus, this does not include Cincinnati at this time. I do think those areas could see some strong storms, maybe a few rumbling storms overnight, but the severe weather threat overall for those locations is pretty low. There is just not enough dynamics and energy going on across southern Ohio for that to really be an issue. But as of right now, the severe weather threat we are looking at there is just not enough dynamics and energy going on. Audio issues. Hopefully that fixed it there. Let me know if there's still any audio issues here. All right, I think that we're going to be good. All right, so we now have all right, so let's just see here. Okay, now the leading edge of this storm is pretty much entering the western suburbs of Cleveland that are in Cuyahoga County. So if you're in Westlake, you don't have much time. You just have maybe a couple minutes to get indoors, away from windows. Right now, this is not a tornado situation, but the National Weather Service has tagged this severe thunderstorm warning as what we call tornado possible. So what that means is that there could be a brief spin-up tornado inside this strong line of severe storms. So it's a good idea if you're in the western suburbs right now to be away from windows and at least have as many roofs and walls between you and the outside as possible, because even if we're not looking at a tornado per se, this wind is mighty and strong, so it could knock a lot around and maybe even cause some damage, hence the severe thunderstorm warning. So let's see if we have any other updates. Not at the exact moment, but I assume we will have updates very, very shortly, as this is now impacting Bay Village, the west side of Westlake, although that'll pretty much take over the whole area soon. And then head right towards Hopkins Airport. So suburbs like Lakewood, Berea, Strongsville, and then after that, we're looking at Brook Park, Brooklyn, Parma, North Royalton, and the west side of Cleveland. So all of these locations really do need to be paying attention. Maybe if you're looking west, you're seeing some dark clouds. I would not be surprised if that's the case, because this is quite a strong storm here, moving across northern Ohio. So, for those of you just joining us, my name is Mike Joyce. I am tracking storms across northern Ohio, now entering the western suburbs of Cleveland. So a lot of heavy rain and high wind with this one. And we're going to wait to see if we get any updates on this. As we do so, what I would like to do is track some of these potential wind speeds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the Doppler radar out of the Grafton area. This is the radar it's called the terminal Doppler radar. Basically, it's used for the Cleveland Airport for their own meteorology purposes, their own weather purposes. And it looks like I'm seeing a lot of those gusts ahead of the precipitation now, moving through North Olmsted and Westlake and Bay Village right now. So if you're at the Cleveland Airport, I wouldn't be surprised if we had things hold off for a couple minutes. If you're knowing anyone who's about to have a flight take off, I would assume they're going to wait a few minutes for that as this storm passes through. So that means Brook Park, Brooklyn, Lakewood, Parma, even Strongsville could be experiencing these high winds here very, very soon. All right, let me switch over to the Cleveland radar. That is the Weather Service radar located right near Hopkins Airport. You can see the big circle on your screen there. That's where the radar is located. You can see it if you're driving along I-480 near the NASA Glenn Research Center. It's that big dome that you see there if you're driving on 480. And it's picking up some very, very nasty winds moving through North Olmsted right now. In fact, I think North Olmsted's getting the worst of it at the moment. I do not see any indication of a tornado threat right now, but boy, is this wind not good. This is what we call considerable damage. Wind speeds upwards of 70 miles per hour. This can cause damage to a lot of structures, especially areas that have been impacted not long ago. We had a lot of wind damage across northern Ohio in the storms within the last couple of weeks. So this is an additional situation that is not really needed in this area. So, but we are now tracking this through the Cleveland suburbs. Let's go south a little bit to see some other areas that could be impacted. That includes Grafton getting some nasty heavy rain and wind right now. Brunswick, you are just out of the warning, but if you're in Brunswick, I would be indoors here as well. Spencer and Medina County, even Lodi, I would be being very mindful of this. Medina too. Stretching all the way into northern Ashland County. So places like Polk, Savannah, West Salem, that's up here in the very tip of Wayne County. Bailey Lake, that's up in northern Ashland County, who is under this warning. It seems like this very small portion of Richland County that's in the warning. I am not too terribly concerned about that anymore. I think if you're in Richland County, your severe weather threat has ended, but the most striking echoes that we're seeing on radar right now are the ones that are moving through the west suburbs of Cleveland. In fact, right on top of Hopkins Airport right now is where we're seeing a very, very strong storm. So if you are in the west side of Cleveland, keeping a lookout for this. We also just got a report from one of our forecasters here at Ohio News and Weather. Mark says he has lost power, and he's on the west side as well. So, yes, I do think there is a power outage risk from this storm. Again, areas that were impacted by power outages within the last couple of weeks. Some folks still recovering from some roof damage within the last couple of weeks here on the west side of Cleveland. So, serious situation here moving through the afternoon. It's 5:26. This warning is going to expire at 5:30. I will wait to see what the Weather Service is going to do, possibly extending this warning into the city of Cleveland and the eastern suburbs of Cleveland. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets extended down into Summit County, maybe even as far east as Geauga and Portage. We'll just have to kind of see what their thoughts are here. But the storm really is right on top of Hopkins Airport right now. So if you're in Lakewood, if you're in Brook Park, if you're in Strongsville, Middleburg Heights, this is on top of you right now. Parma, you're not very far away in about 10 minutes or so. The storm itself is moving at 60 miles per hour. All right, we do have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. It has not shown up on this radar yet, but hopefully it will very shortly. And yes, it includes all of Cuyahoga, all of Medina. There it goes, showing up on your screen right now. All of Medina, all of Summit, all of Geauga, and most of Portage County. Let's get some details on this severe thunderstorm warning. It is tagged tornado possible, meaning that this storm is strong enough that any of the strong wind associated with this storm could produce a brief spin-up tornado. We're not talking about major tornado, but we're talking about enough to cause some damage. And wind up to 70 miles per hour. So this is considerable tree damage. Damage is likely to mobile homes. So if you are in a mobile home and you're ahead of this storm, if you have a safe place to be, I would recommend going there. All right, so this severe thunderstorm warning will run until 6:15. Again, with that 70 mile per hour wind hazard, penny-sized hail possible. In some areas that I wouldn't be surprised if we had some penny-sized hail, that's going to be right here in the pink. And that's going to be moving through Brook Park and Lakewood and Berea right now. Middleburg Heights getting impacted by this. So, not a good situation for the west side of Cleveland. In fact, I'm even going to try to pull up a camera here to see if I can't get a look at what's going on there. Just to see. All right. Yes, so the west side of Cleveland getting impacted. I-71 from the county line near Brunswick to all the way up to downtown Cleveland at this time. And looking at some cameras. Let's see if I can't get any cameras up here. And we just got a report of a 74 mile per hour wind gust just to the west of Cleveland. So west side of Cleveland getting a 74 mile per hour gust. Not surprising at all. Not surprising at all. Okay. Quite a nasty storm moving through at the moment. All right, let's try to see if we can put our velocity on here. We're not getting good velocity returns because this storm pretty much is right on top of the radar right now. Let me see if I can switch over to the terminal Doppler radar out of the Grafton area. And yeah, wow, we're getting some very, very strong wind moving through Lakewood, Brook Park, Brooklyn. Now in Parma Heights, Parma, Middleburg Heights. Berea, you're getting some gusty wind at the moment. So Brooklyn, west side of Cleveland, you are getting impacted by this storm right now. If you're on the east side of Cleveland, it will not be long until it gets there. So if you're on the east side of Cleveland, you're going to need to be looking out for this storm. So this will impact the entire Cleveland metro at some point within the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. So let's switch back over to the Cleveland radar at the airport. Wow. Okay. I'm seeing some very, very strong wind about to impact Brooklyn. So looks like it's rolling through. So right here we see all the 10s. That's Lorraine Avenue on the west side. That's I-71 from about West 150th Street all the way to where it curves and meets I-90 downtown. It's going to be a very gusty region. And yeah, special marine warning just issued for Lake Erie, so hopefully all boaters are off the water. Also included the rest of Medina County, so down here, Spencer and Lodi, you'll be impacted soon as well. Same with Brunswick, City of Medina, West Salem in northern Wayne County. If you're in Wayne County, the only portion of Wayne County that's in the warning right now is north of State Route 604. So State Route 604 is right here. Just the far northern fringe of Wayne County. So if you're in Worcester, Orville, Shreve, you are not in the warning. But Akron, you are. Akron is in the warning because this storm is expected to hold together and move into Summit County and those communities here soon. So that's kind of what we're looking at here as we move through the next about 45 minutes or so, and then we'll have to see what happens as this storm moves off to the east from there. But a lot of damage potential with this one. Very, very strong wind. All right. So again, in the pinks and the purples, those are some areas that you're going to be seeing some potential for some small hail. All right. Let me see if I can see some comments. Apparently the comments were not loading for me, but hopefully we've been keeping an eye on that. All right. Let's see here. Thundering bad in Ashland County. Power flickered in Elyria. Power flickered in Amherst. Lightning in Berea. North Ridgeville is dark. Yes, we did get reports of that, unfortunately. Thank you all for reporting this in. Yes, downtown Cleveland is one spot that is definitely getting this storm very, very soon. So I know it's past 5 o'clock and a lot of people who maybe work downtown and might be commuting home. All right, we now have a tornado warning. A tornado warning for downtown Cleveland. This is a serious situation. A tornado warning for Cuyahoga County. This includes all of the city of Cleveland. This includes Brooklyn, Parma, Maple Heights, Shaker Heights, University Heights, Cleveland Heights, Euclid. This extends into Lake County, so East Lake, Menor, Paynesville. This stretches into Geauga County, Gates Mills. We have a tornado warning now for the city of Cleveland. All right, let's get the latest on this tornado warning. Radar indicated rotation. This possible tornado was nearly located over the center of Cleveland, and it's moving east at 65 miles per hour. All right, this is a serious situation. So if you're in Cuyahoga County, you now need to be in your basement, away from windows. And this is on top of downtown Cleveland. This is on top of Brooklyn and Parma as we speak right now. Let's try to get some areas that we see that this may be happening. Yeah, right here. So this is going to be some of these areas stretching from Cleveland all the way down through Newburgh Heights, I-77 corridor, stretching down toward Parma. These are all areas where strong rotation is showing up on the radar right now. So again, there's a tornado warning now for the city of Cleveland and the eastern suburbs. A tornado warning. All right, let me see if I can't get another view on this rotation from the Doppler radar out of Lorain County, the terminal Doppler. Let's try to see if we can't get that to load up. But yes, a tornado warning now for Cuyahoga County. This is going to run for the next 42 minutes. So this tornado warning is in effect until 6:15. So we're going to keep an eye on it. All right, for some reason that radar is not loading, but that's okay. All right, here we go. So yeah, downtown Cleveland, Newburgh Heights, Garfield Heights, Cuyahoga Heights, Valley View, Brattonall, Cleveland Heights, University Heights, Shaker Heights, Warrensville Heights, all the heights on the east side. You are in this tornado warning. And the area of rotation right now would be right over downtown Cleveland down to Newburgh Heights. There is a little hook that I can see on the radar right where I-90 and I-71 come together, which is just south of downtown. So that's like the Tremont neighborhood of Cleveland. So if you're in Tremont, that's likely where the rotation is on top of right now, between Newburgh Heights, downtown, and potentially right on top of the Tremont area. So that's going to follow the Opportunity Corridor there, which leads over to the Cleveland Clinic. So people at the Cleveland Clinic are under this tornado warning. That includes Case Western University, Case Western Reserve University, that is. And it's moving at 65 miles per hour. So this has already blasted through the I-77 corridor. We could even be seeing some hail over Tremont and Newburgh Heights right now. So if you're in Cleveland Heights, University Heights, you have a couple minutes to get to your basement right now. This is a serious situation. So again, any of the heights, Richmond, Cleveland, University Heights, Shaker Heights, Warrensville Heights, all the eastern suburbs need to be away from windows. The western suburbs, you're just getting some heavy rain right now. If you're in the western suburbs, you are not under the tornado warning. But if you are in the eastern suburbs, you are under this tornado warning. For eastern Cuyahoga County, blasting through the east side of Cleveland. That includes Brattonall, Euclid, Richmond Heights, Cleveland Heights. And that'll be running until 6:15. So we're getting a lot of reports of some bad wind out of this. If it's not a tornado, we're looking at straight line wind potential out of this. So a very serious situation. Let's try to get some more precise roads, really anywhere eastern suburbs. I could say some specific spots, so we could say Mayfield Road, Woodland Avenue, I-271, Route 6. Over here on the east side, we have Cleveland Heights, University Heights, and Shaker Heights as well. So those are some places that are right in line of that area of rotation. And look at this. The radar just updated, and look how fast it's moved. I mean, this is moving at 65 miles per hour. The storm itself is moving at highway speed. So, serious situation for the east side of Cleveland. Please take this seriously. And it looks like the worst of the rotation. Let's see if I can't get... If there's any rotation in this storm, it's possibly going to be from that line to Cleveland Heights, the Lake Shore, down to about Garfield Heights. So that's a big swath of population there under this tornado warning that's in the immediate threat for some very, very serious wind or tornado damage here. So, again, the National Weather Service has issued this tornado warning. Right now, Cleveland Heights, University Heights, Shaker Heights, and Garfield Heights are under the gun for this. If you're back here in Lakewood, I do not have a tornado threat or tornado concern for you. Brooklyn, Parma, you're in the clear. It's the eastern suburbs now. This storm is moving so fast that it's really the eastern suburbs. And we're getting some reports. All right. Friend in Lyndhurst got the warning. Yes, Lyndhurst and Pepper Pike, Hunting Valley, all of those east suburbs need to be in their basement right now. It looks like, because it's moving so fast, it's hard to keep an eye on it. But if you're moving down, let's see, we've got, what do we have? Yeah, Mayfield Road, Chagrin Boulevard. Chagrin is 422 there. Along the blue and green rapid lines there in Shaker Heights. Those are some areas that need to be, that are probably being impacted at this time. This is a now impact rather than coming towards you. Now, coming towards you would be Geauga Lake County, but a now impact is the heights. So Richmond Heights, Cleveland Heights, University Heights, all of the heights along 271. I would not be surprised at next radar update that when we get our next update, the line will already be at I-271. It's moving so fast. All right, so if we zoom out a little bit, we can see the scope of this tornado warning all the way up through Menor and Paynesville, Euclid. This does include portions of Solon, the north side of Solon. We had some folks asking about Medina County. Medina County, you are not in the tornado warning, but you are under the severe thunderstorm warning for some damaging wind potential. We even had some questions about other parts of the state. While there are some storms in Hardin County out towards Bowling Green, those are not severe at this time, and I'm expecting our severe weather threat to diminish there. But our main focus right now is this tornado warning, this very, very strong thunderstorm moving through the eastern suburbs of Cleveland. It is still raining very heavily in downtown Cleveland. Euclid, it's on top of you right now. Mayfield, it's on top of you. Shaker Heights, University Heights, Cleveland Heights, all those locations. And I do expect the north side of Solon to be impacted by this very, very soon. So Chesterland, so once you get into Chesterland, you're moving into Geauga County at that point. This does not include Chardon, but Chardon is very close. We also just got a report, a 71 mile per hour gust at Burke Lakefront Airport. So Burke Lakefront Airport is right there on the near east side of downtown, not far from the Brown Stadium, not far from the Great Lakes Science Center. That had a 71 mile per hour gust. So this storm is, even if you're not going to be impacted by a tornado, this storm is still producing very damaging wind. And that is going to be the widespread threat of this. So actually I'm getting a call from a friend on that side of town right now. Let me see if I can get a report from him. All right, if folks can still hear me, I've turned my voice back on. That was a friend of mine who owns a business in Fairview Park, and he said he was in his garage and heard the typical freight train sound associated with a tornado. He thinks it was about a half a mile north of him. That was in Fairview Park not long ago. So that may be what triggered that tornado warning to get issued. So there is the possibility that a tornado may have touched down on the west side of Cleveland. So we're going to get some more information for you on that here later. But because we got some potential ground truth from the west side, this tornado warning is still in effect for the east side. And I'm a bit concerned about our eastern suburbs right now. So Shaker Heights, Cleveland Heights, you're getting the heavy rain and hail and wind with this, but some areas that may be experiencing a potential tornado really include Hunting Valley and Gates Mills. I would not be surprised. So that's that is U.S. Route 322. So this is quickly going to be moving into Geauga County, where we're seeing some rotation on the radar. This is also moving into the southern fringe of Lake County. It's already rolling east of the I-90-271 corridor. So, yeah, this is a serious situation. Again, I got a report from a meteorologist friend of mine who was in Fairview Park and said he heard the freight train sound just north of his shop on Lorraine Road. So, okay, that times out right with this, and it also times out with the fact that it just times out that this storm is serious business. Now impacting the east side of Cleveland. So if you are in the very eastern fringe of Cuyahoga County, really if you're in Geauga and Lake County, those are areas that need to absolutely be in their basement, away from windows, putting as many layers above you and between you and the outside as you possibly can. So a center room, a closet. If you don't have a basement, if you have a basement, that's the place to be. Again, this is Geauga County and Lake County. The storm is moving very, very fast. It's 65 miles per hour. So as it moves this quickly, we are concerned that, because this is not one that's easy to see. This isn't the type of tornado situation you can go out and look at, which is not something anyone should really ever do. But in this case, this is moving quickly. It's wrapped in rain. And if I'm going to say where there might be a tornado threat right now, it's probably near Gates Mills and Hunting Valley, specifically right along US 322, along the area where Cuyahoga, Geauga, and Lake counties come together. So that's where the tornado threat appears to be at the moment, on top of Gates Mills, heading towards Chesterland, moving east at 65 miles per hour. Wow, this is a quite the nasty storm. All right, we're gonna have to. I'm going to anticipate that we have a lot of damage in the Cleveland area. So we're gonna have to wait to see if some of those reports come in. I'm just trying to look for some reports here. Tornado warning. Okay. No immediate new news. But yeah, the area that I'm most concerned about is now Chesterland, because I think it's moving so fast that the radar is lagging behind. So at next radar scan, which should be coming up here within a few seconds, I'm anticipating, there it is. Okay, yep, I am not surprised by that. Okay, Chagrin Falls even. We're seeing these notches in the line here, these wavy little notches between the green and the yellows and the reds. Those indicate to me areas where there could be some rotation with this storm. So Chesterland, Chagrin Falls, Bainbridge, into Geauga County now. This is where the tornado threat will continue. Chardon, you're just outside the warning, but I would be in your safe spot if I'm in Chardon. Kirtland Hills, Waite Hill, Willoughby, Menor, all of you are in that's Madison as well. Well, Madison's up here, sorry. But I would be, if you're in Madison and Lake County, I would be in your safe spot as well, just because you're so close to the tornado warning. But the main threat I see right here is Chagrin Falls and Hunting Valley. And yeah, we have that rotation on radar here. Although it's starting to show, let's see, moving this way, moving that way. The rotation is questionable, but it's definitely, potentially there. Another thing I want to look at is, do we have any do we have any debris lofted? Which is what I'm going to try to turn on here. Alright, okay. Yeah. So what you're seeing here is over back here near Shaker Heights. Honestly, I don't think this is necessarily tornado debris back here near Shaker Heights. I think it might be hail. But if there was any tornado debris, it would be, again, in that same area between Chagrin Falls and Chesterland. I don't know. Those signatures are not very, they're not 100% proof of a tornado. So we're just going to kind of back off of that right now. But I just wanted to check to see what our debris signatures looked like. But yeah, it looks like there definitely could be some sort of rotation near Hunting Valley and Gates Mills and Chesterland. But again, this is the radar is moving the storm is moving so fast that it's hard to keep up with it. So Chesterland, you need to be in your basement. What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to turn the radar back on, but I'm having some technical issues here. Let's see if we can't get that going. There we go. Okay, yeah. All these little wavy areas in the rain on our radar here is really showing where that tornado potential may be. We'll have to see if the Weather Service decides to extend this. All right, so we've warned you about those areas. Some other areas to be concerned about for some severe weather down in Medina County. So a strong storm has moved through Medina and is now on top of I-71 and 271. So that's going to be heading toward Akron and all of Summit County, really. Akron and points north, so Cuyahoga Falls, Fair Lawn, Richfield Peninsula, Boston Heights, Cuyahoga Valley National Park, getting that strong storm. And that's about it. The rest of the state is relatively in the clear for some severe weather right now. There are some stronger storms back in northern Indiana, but that is not looking to impact anywhere in Ohio right now. There is a decent little storm over Kenton and Hardin County. There's a couple storms over Van Wert and Salina, but those do not appear to be severe at this time. The worst storm we have over Ohio right now is this one. That is the tornado warned storm that's impacting primarily Geauga in Lake County right now. But we are going to watch those storms back in Indiana. That would probably be something that Ohio would be looking out for later this evening as those storms start to fire up. So again, we're going to get a little bit of a break in the action before we keep monitoring things into the evening. But right now, we do have this tornado warned storm on top of Chesterland, Chagrin Falls. It's probably already moved through Chagrin Falls at this point just because it's moving so fast. But Chesterland, I do believe this tornado warned storm is on top of right now with a possible tornado moving there. Chardon, you've got a couple minutes. If you're in Chardon, I would be in your safe spot. Kirtland Hills, all of the Cleveland suburbs that reside in Lake County, including Painesville and Mentor, even Madison, I would be kind of keeping an eye on this storm. A very serious situation for Geauga and Lake County right now. If you're in Cuyahoga County, I do believe you're in the clear of the tornado threat. Yes, the eastern suburbs are still in the tornado warning. However, it's moving so fast that it has now left Cuyahoga County. So your main threat in Cuyahoga County right now is the heavy rain that's still falling. And I'm waiting to see if I hear any word from some folks on the west side of Cleveland about a possible tornado on the ground in the western suburbs from this same storm. So that's not happening right now. That happened 20 minutes ago, but it's the same storm. Oh my, okay, so we now have a new radar signature that's quite concerning for central Geauga County. Right here we see a little hook on the radar. Let's see if I can draw that on the radar here. I'm going to try to do that. Let's see. How come my pen isn't working? All right, well, I can't get the pen to work at the moment. I'll have to fix that later. But right here, where you see, I'm going to try to just do it with my mouse pointer, maybe if I can. My mouse pointer's kind of doing it. All right, so right here, there's this hook in the line of thunderstorms in central Geauga County, right here along State Route 87. and 44. So that's heading toward Burton. If you're in Burton, you need to be in a safe spot right now. It's moving very, very fast. And even Chardon, there's a little hook here that is concerning. So again, Chardon and Burton, you need to be in your safe spots. Even Chesterland and everyone in between. If you're on along US 322, State Route 44, State Route 87, Middlefield in Geauga County, you're not in the tornado warning, but it's moving fast. I would be in your safe spot just to be safe. Lake County, I think your tornado threat is a little lower. I think the main tornado threat is running now through Geauga County just by this very concerning looking radar signature right here from Bainbridge all the way up toward Chardon. We're seeing some little notches in the line here. And yeah, we see, we definitely see some turbulence and some dynamic, maybe some rotation in there as well. I'm not sure how well defined that is, but it's certainly possible. So, and it's lined up with these little wavy kinks in the line. So we're going to keep that in mind. So yes, thank you all to my partners here at Ohio News and Weather for keeping an eye on things. Yes, we certainly have these little concerning radar signatures here that is really conducive to a quick tornado threat, a quick but very serious tornado threat. The Weather Service has decided to trim Cuyahoga County out of the tornado warning, which makes sense. There is no longer a tornado threat in Cuyahoga County, but would not be surprised if some folks are coming home to some damage or dealing with no power in portions of the west side and east side of Cleveland here. So, crazy stuff with this storm. And we were aware of the potential. It seems like things really got going quickly, and the speed of this storm is what's very impressive, but also very dangerous at the same time. You can actually see right here near Burton, where if there's going to be a tornado threat, I think it's going to be right near Burton. We'll see if the Weather Service decides to extend this tornado warning into portions of Trumbull and Ashtabula County here, if they think that this storm is going to continue to produce rotation from there. But if you're in Middlefield, I would be keeping an eye on it. Yeah, my most concerning areas right now are Aquila, Chardon, Burton, and Middlefield. These locations here. So still following US 322. I-90 is going to be a nasty drive right now up into Lake County. So I think Lake County's tornado threat is over, but it's really central Geauga County that this is going to be a continued serious situation. The tornado warning does expire in 15 minutes, so that's why I'm going to see whether or not they extend it into Ashtabula and Trumbull County here, because it looks like if you're near Madison, you might be getting some hail up in Madison in Lake County, but that storm's about to enter Ashtabula County right now. But any area of rotation is going to be near Burton and Middlefield, and it's now leaving the tornado warning polygon. So this could be weakening a little bit, which we've seen some indication, but we still see a lot of dynamic wind in this storm. All right, let me switch back over to my debris tracker here. We have a way to track the potential of debris lofted into the atmosphere with these storms here, and I'm waiting for it to load. And it's taking its sweet time, unfortunately. Let's see if I can. I had it loaded earlier. Let's see if I can get it loaded again. All right. Does not. Wait. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. It does appear to me. So what we're looking at here is a radar product that can tell the different sizes of stuff lofted into the atmosphere. And if everything is a consistent size, it's likely rain. And we want that. We want it to just be rain. And that's where you're going to see this red here. But where we see these areas of maybe some greens and oranges, that tells me that there's could be something in the atmosphere that we have to keep an eye on. So we are going to do that. We're going to keep an eye on things here. We're going to see if they're going to issue a new tornado warning. We're kind of watching things here. I would not be surprised if they do issue a new warning, just because this storm has a history of producing a possible tornado. So, and yeah, I'm seeing some possible debris, or if it's not debris, it's hail on the radar here. So, I mean, hail wouldn't indicate a tornado warning, but yeah, if you're not getting a tornado in Geauga County, boy, you're getting a lot of hail and potentially 70-mile-per-hour wind as well. All right, so we have not heard from the Weather Service yet to see if they were going to extend this, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Right now, the warning runs until 6:15 for just Geauga and Lake County, but it's primarily in Geauga County right now, and soon enough it's going to be in Trumbull and Ashtabula County, and then soon enough after that, this is going to be pushing into Pennsylvania. And at that point, we're going to be in a bit of a lull in the severe weather action. All right, but we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect ahead of this. That does include Trumbull and Ashtabula County, which that is going to run for the next hour. So this severe thunderstorm warning will expire at 7. It is not tagged tornado possible, and the Weather Service has gone ahead and canceled the tornado warning. Okay. Well, that's good news. You no longer see that red polygon on the screen, meaning that our tornado warning has been expired. So now we're just going to track this severe thunderstorm warning. So again, it runs until 7 o'clock, so it's going to be with us for some time. But I don't think the storm is even going to be around that long, to be honest, because it's moving so fast. It's moving at 65 miles per hour. But we still have to watch to see if anything ends up rotating in this storm as well, because of its history in the bulk of Cuyahoga County. So we're going to check up on some of those reports here for you too. All right, so the most dangerous part of the storm is still back here in Geauga County, although if you're in Akron, you are probably seeing some nasty clouds and potentially some very gusty wind that'll be impacting Cuyahoga Falls, Akron, Barberton very soon. It's already impacting the Boston Mills, Twinsburg, Richfield area. Streetsboro, you're under this severe thunderstorm warning, as is Ravenna. And this stretches back to Lodi. Lodi, you're on the back end, but 224 from about Lodi through Akron. So that's also I-76 there. That shares the road with 224 from about I-71 down to I-77 in Akron. You're going to be seeing a nasty storm. Even West Salem, we have a brief downpour with some gusty wind. But everywhere else, we are not experiencing severe weather at this time. There is another thunderstorm over the Toledo area at the moment, but it is not severe. And it's producing a little bit of lightning. Okay, well, we have new news. A new severe thunderstorm watch has been issued. That is now for Northwest Ohio. So this is for a potential round 2 for Northwest Ohio, a severe thunderstorm watch. Let's get some details on that. The severe thunderstorm watch is going to run until midnight tonight, and now includes Mercer, Allen, or Mercer, Auglaize, Allen, Van Wert, Paulding, Putnam, Defiance, and portions of Fulton and Williams County until midnight tonight. And I believe that's due to the storms back here in Indiana. So the severe storms associated with that are not in our area just yet, but we're going to be keeping an eye on it through the evening. Really, the worst storm as we speak right now is the one that is about to roll through Trumbull and Ashtabula County. So Trumbull and Ashtabula County, you are under the gun. It's about to exit Geauga County. Burton and Aquila, Chardon, you're getting hit still, but the worst of this is leaving those areas. All right, there we go. There's our new radar update. Very strong storm with a history of producing a tornado. Now moving into Ashtabula and Geauga County. This could certainly still be producing 70-mile-per-hour wind. So that is my main concern with that as well. But yeah, a lot going on. But we are about to enter a lull. A lull in the action here. Again, and this is just for Northern Ohio right now. If you're in Columbus, if you're in Cincinnati, Dayton, Delaware, Zanesville, Chillicothe, if you're watching us from anywhere in those areas, you're okay. This is only for far northeastern Ohio right now, including Ashtabula and Trumbull County. So we'll stick with this for a little bit longer. We'll see how this storm progresses. And as the storm ends up moving into Pennsylvania, we'll probably take a break from our stream here and then follow up later this evening if situations warrant to have another stream. Okay, so a few questions. Mansfield, you are okay. Eastern Cuyahoga is in the clear now. Quiet in Copley, that's good news. Clyde, Ohio, you are okay. Salina, Ohio, you are okay. Salina, you're under a severe thunderstorm watch that was just issued, but those storms are still a couple hours away from you. So I would keep an eye on things in western Ohio. Also, we got a question about Poland. That's down here in Mahoning County. You are not under a severe thunderstorm warning at this time, but some of the strong storms over near Akron and Ravenna could be impacting you within the next 30 minutes or so. So I would keep a vigilant eye if you're anywhere in from Youngstown up to Ashtabula, so far eastern Ohio. Geauga County, you are almost in the clear of any tornado. Well, you are clear of tornado threats at this time. Still some hail and gusty wind over Middlefield. Chardon, you're on the backside of this now. But if you're in Ashtabula and Jefferson, this storm's basically on top of you. The radar shows it's still behind you to the west a little bit, but it's moving so fast that the radar doesn't keep up with it, if you know what I mean. So I would just consider it on top of Ashtabula and Jefferson. So that includes all of State Route 11. So State Route 11 is a major thoroughfare between Youngstown and Ashtabula. So I would highly recommend not traveling along State Route 11 or US 6. State Route 11 because you'd be running parallel to the wind and any high-profile vehicles could get knocked around with that. So that would not be ideal. But yeah, this storm is basically in Trumbull and Ashtabula County now. So Lake County, you're in the clear. Cuyahoga County, you're in the clear. Akron, we do have this strong storm rolling through there. It doesn't seem to be as strong as the storm moving through Trumbull and Ashtabula County right now, but it's still a severe thunderstorm warned storm, so we're keeping an eye on it. So that's going to be downtown Akron, Cuyahoga Falls, Barberton, portions of Medina County, including Wadsworth, but the city of Medina is clear, Lodi's clear, Brunswick's clear. This will be now moving into Akron and Mogador, Ravenna and Streetsboro, of course, being in Portage County. So Kent State University, you're probably about to get a nasty storm. Aurora, it's on top of you now. But that's a little bit separate from this storm that's producing hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind that's essentially now well into Ashtabula and Trumbull County. So that includes Orwell, still along US 322. This is north of Cortland. I expect the worst of this to stay north of Cortland. So if we have anybody watching in southern Trumbull County, I think the worst of it is going to stay north. It should stay north of Warren. I'm trying to get Warren down here. You are not in the warning. Lordstown, Niles, Newton Falls, you are not in the warning. Neither is Mahoning County. But those are just some updates from that portion of Ohio. So again, I'm probably going to stick with you guys here for the next 10 minutes. And at that point, this storm will probably be pushing into Pennsylvania. And then the storm will be through Akron. So I'll probably be taking a break here with our live stream. And we will reassess the need for live streams later this evening. The tornado warning has been canceled. We're going to be keeping an eye on the potential for a second round of severe weather for northern Ohio. Again, we have this new severe thunderstorm watch that was issued for northern Indiana, and it includes counties that were under a severe thunderstorm watch earlier today. You are now under another one, so that's essentially a round 2. But anyone not shaded in red, that's the severe thunderstorm watch, or orange, that's the severe thunderstorm warning, you are in the clear right now. That doesn't mean you won't hear a few rumbles of thunder overnight. I wouldn't be surprised if you're in Columbus, Dayton, Zanesville, maybe you heard some rumbles of thunder overnight, but the threat for severe weather is very, very low at this time. All right, like I said, I'm probably going to stick with this storm until about 6:20. That'll give us a good update on this as it moves into Pennsylvania. And the storm down here near Akron, which is a severe warned storm, but appears to be weaker than the storm up near Trumbull and Ashtabula County. Wow, okay. I did just turn the velocity data on here, and it looks like this storm is now producing wind gusts potentially greater than 70 miles per hour right along State Route 534 in Ashtabula County. Let me see if I can't get a better estimate of those wind speeds for you. Yeah, I'm seeing the potential that maybe we could be even seeing an 80 mile per hour gust right here where you see those oranges and yellows turn into like a gray and even green. I would not be surprised if that's an 80 mile per hour gust there. That's very, very high damage potential there. Okay. So this is moving through Ashtabula County. I think the worst of this storm is moving through Ashtabula County right now. We also have State Route 45 that runs north-south between Ashtabula and Trumbull County. This potential 80 mile per hour wind threat is moving through there. That includes the city of Jefferson, the city of Ashtabula just to the north. Is already moved through Geneva on the Lake, but it's probably still very windy there. Down here in Akron, that storm doesn't seem to be too bad. I mean, I do believe you're going to get some wind with it, moving through Cuyahoga Falls and Wadsworth, but we're not seeing those bright, dangerous-looking radar signatures in Summit County right now. So good news for Akron. You're still going to get a nasty storm, but it is not to the 80 mile per hour wind threat that I'm seeing out here in Ashtabula County. And my radar data went away for a second. Let's see if I can't try to get it back. Give me 1 sec here. But again, while we're waiting for the radar to reload, Orwell, that's going to be a town that could be blasted with that wind. Roaming Shores, Andover, within the next 10 minutes. Really, really, really following US 322. We've also seen an extension of this severe thunderstorm warning into Pennsylvania. All right. Why is the radar not... All right, there we go. Hopefully I'm getting my radar data back here. There we go. Okay, new radar scan. All right, now we're looking at some of those very, very high wind gusts up near Jefferson. So that's Ashtabula County now getting hit with this 80 mile per hour potential wind. Let's see if the Weather Service has any updates for us on this. I'm going to try to see... Yeah, they're still alerting for 70 miles per hour. Okay, and that makes sense. But, you know, my radar is really, really showing a very, very strong wind gust here. right on State Route 45 at the moment, and then that's going to be moving over to State Route 46, State Route 11. Hopefully, high-profile vehicles will not be impacted by this, but boy, if it's running parallel to the wind, or I should say perpendicular to the wind, perpendicular meaning like that, that could be a serious situation for any trucks driving up and down State Route 11 right now. That would be in Ashtabula County, right near Jefferson. Right near Jefferson and Roaming Shores is the worst wind. I'm also seeing a large swath of wind down here near Orwell along US 322. So that's not good. Other towns nearby, Colebrook, New Lyme, Lenox Township, that's in central Ashtabula County. Lots of wind potential out of this one. So we had a comment. Ashtabula is out of power. Sky is very green. Okay, so that green sky indicates to me that there's a hail core or extremely heavy rain over Ashtabula, and I believe that for sure. I believe Ashtabula is getting hit with hail right now. Thank you, Tammy, for that report. So that means North Kingsville and Conneaut, it's going to be on top of you very, very soon. So if you're in Conneaut, I'd be away from windows. Put as many roofs, ceilings, and walls between you and the outside as you can. Even though this isn't a tornado warning, it's still a situation where damaging wind could be potential. And hail can break glass as well. That holds true for Jefferson. Now moving out of Orwell. So if you're in Cortland, you might just miss it in Cortland here in Trumbull County, but it's about to reach the state line here very, very soon. So, okay, we got Ashtabula out of power and green. All right. Let's see. Marietta, no. Marietta, I think you're going to be okay. Conneaut, you are in the line of this storm. So if you're in Conneaut, it is almost there. Conneaut, it's now your time to be indoors. We got a report. Weather Service said tornado spotted near Norwalk. No, Norwalk is in the clear. Anywhere off to the west, Norwalk, you're in the clear. Although we are watching this line of storms that's developing near Ottawa County and Sandusky County. It doesn't appear to be severe at this time, but it'll be bearing watching. And just a few pop-up storms in places like Shelby, Marion, Ashland, Defiance, even a storm, and then we've got even some strong storms back in Indiana. So we're not done yet. We're going to get a break from the strongest of storms here soon enough, but the most concerning storm right now, with the history of potentially producing a tornado, is now moving through central Trumbull and Ashtabula County. It's about to impact Conneaut, and then it's about to leave Ohio. So once it leaves Ohio, we'll probably pause our stream here. What we're also going to still do is keep an eye on those storms redeveloping back near Ottawa and Sandusky County, just for the potential to see if any of those become severe at any moment. The Weather Service does not have an alert on that, so that's good news. Plus, also some good news, if you're in Akron, your severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled. Ravenna, it's been canceled for you, although we do have a special weather statement stretching into Mahoning County now for potential wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. So it's weakened a little bit to the south, but if you're in Youngstown, you may be wanting to look out for 50 mile per hour gusts. But for now, it's this severe thunderstorm with the history of potentially producing a tornado, still the potential for 70 mile per hour wind and some hail as it moves into Pennsylvania. So Conneaut, it's basically on top of you right now. Jefferson, it's leaving Jefferson. Andover and Lake Pymatuning. Not a whole lot of campers and recreation folks out on Lake Pymatuning this time of year, but still it's a recreation area that straddles the Ohio and Pennsylvania state line there in Ashtabula and Trumbull County. So that would be an area that needs to look out for this dangerous storm that's about to pass into Pennsylvania. All right, no new updates from our end. Let me see if I've got updates elsewhere to share with you all. All right. No new updates. Well, no news is good news, but I'm still concerned about eastern Ashtabula and Trumbull County with this strong thunderstorm. And even down here, there's a strong storm near Manaway and Garrettsville. So those would be in northern Portage County, just north of the Ohio Turnpike. So that's Interstate 80, the Ohio Turnpike there. So Manaway and Garrettsville getting a strong storm. I don't see any major issues there at the moment. Just some gusty wind, maybe some pea-sized hail, but certainly something to be inside when that is occurring. Let's see if we have any debris or hail. Yeah, we might have some small hail over Conneaut, down towards Andover, but this storm is quickly exiting Ohio. So anyone in Conneaut really should be indoors and away from windows. But soon enough, the threat will be over, at least with this line of storms. All right, let me take a look at some comments here. Dayton, you are clear. Cuyahoga Falls, you are mostly clear, although you are probably getting some heavy rain right now. Troy, you're clear. Ashtabula is getting hit right now. Ravenna, you could have some brief heavy downpours, but that's about it. Morrow County looks good. Worcester looks good. Norton, pretty good, although you might have some heavy rain in Norton. And Archbold, yeah, just clouds and sun. They're very good, very good. All right, again, here is that line of storms moving very, very quickly out of Ohio. So I'm going to stick with this for a couple minutes, maybe another radar scan or two, and then take a break as we get ready to gear up for potential coverage later this evening. So stick with us here on Ohio News and Weather. If you haven't downloaded the Ohio News and Weather app, it's free to do so on the Apple App Store or Google Play. My name is meteorologist Mike Joyce. You'll see me from time to time here streaming on Ohio News and Weather during severe weather events. We also want to give a shout out to all the other folks behind the scenes, including Brant and Zach and Mark, who always do a great job here keeping things on track and providing forecasts every day. And we're going to be keeping an eye on this for you guys throughout the evening. We could have some thunderstorms overnight after you're in bed. So again, having the app handy, a way to wake up if severe weather happens, that's a good idea. I do think with this main line of storms and sunset happening here just before 8 o'clock, we've got about an hour and a half before sunset. I think after sunset, any fuel for tornadoes will be pretty much done. We could have some gusty wind and maybe some small hail with storms tonight. Certainly some thunder and lightning, but our tornado threat is very low after this rolled through. We're going to comb through some storm reports and see if, in fact, we do have damage across the Cleveland area. I'm very, very convinced that we do, so that's a serious situation. In fact, I might even check up to see if I have reports on that really quick. Seems like there's quite a few trees down on the west side of Cleveland. Interesting. Okay. All right. Yes, this storm is moving quickly out of here. Let's wait. Let's give it one more radar scan before I let you guys go. Akron, you're getting a heavy downpour, some gusty wind, maybe some pea-sized hail. And then, yeah, I'm still watching this storm out here in Ottawa in Sandusky County. Not severe at this time. And no special weather statement on it either. So that's good news. That means the Weather Service doesn't seem to be too concerned about it at this moment, which is great. All right, let's see what this next radar scan here shows. Let's check the wind here really quick as well. Our velocity scan, which is taking its time. Okay, yeah, this is really a linear event. What I mean by that is it looks like our not seeing a lot of rotation or any signature regarding any tornado threat at this time. All right, here's our new radar scan. Yeah, it looks like we're looking at some hail from Conneaut stretching down to Andover and some gusty wind out of this one. And then it's about to move into Pennsylvania. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's moving into Pennsylvania right now, as this is moving east at 60 miles per hour. So it's moving faster than the radar can detect it. All right, well, thank you all so much for watching. I believe I'm going to let things go. Here at Ohio News and Weather, I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce. Stay with us through the evening as we continue to watch for some more strong storms. But for right now, the most severe weather is now exiting into Pennsylvania, and we'll get ready for a